She helped build his dream, only for him to replace her when success arrived. But destiny had a twist, because the girl he left behind was becoming a star of her own. Like the video, share it with someone who loves good stories, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next twist. Lami first met Siko at a dusty open mic night in a small rooftop bar. The speakers crackled, the mic stand leaned to one side, and the stage light flickered like it was tired. Still, when Siko started to sing, the whole place went quiet. His voice was raw, full of something that sounded like old pain and new hope. He mixed talking drums with soft guitar chords and melodies that felt like both Lagos traffic and village moonlight at the same time. Lami stood at the back, holding a plate of suya she had bought outside and forgot to eat. "Who is that?" she whispered to herself. When he stepped off stage, sweaty and smiling shyly, nobody rushed to him. A few people clapped, then checked their phones. Lami felt something in her chest. This boy had something fire inside him, she thought. So when he walked past her, carrying his cheap guitar in a torn black case, she cleared her throat, straightened her thrifted denim jacket, and said, "Hi. I really liked your song." Siko blinked like he was not used to compliments. "You did?" he asked, shifting his guitar to the other shoulder. His eyes were tired, but they brightened. "I did," Lami replied. "The part where you mixed Yoruba with English? And that line about city noise hiding village prayers. That line is crazy." He smiled fully then, a slow, grateful smile. "Thank you. My name is Siko." "I'm Lami," she said, holding out her hand. His palm was calloused from strings, warm and a little rough. "Do you perform here often?" she asked. "Only when they remember me," he joked. "Most people want DJ nights, not boys with guitars." Lami laughed softly. "They don't know what they need yet," she said. "But they will." He watched her for a moment like he was trying to decide if she meant that. "Are you a musician too?" he asked. She shook her head. "No. I just like seeing people's dreams before they become big. I like being around beginnings." Siko looked down at his guitar, then back up at her. "This beginning is broke," he said. "But maybe one day it will pay rent." After that night, Lami started showing up at every place Siko said he would play. Tiny bars, church youth events, campus shows where the sound engineer disappeared halfway through the set. She sat in the front row when she could, nodding her head to his beats, clapping louder than anyone else. When he messed up a line, she smiled and mouthed, "You're good." When he nailed a difficult riff, she whistled and shouted his name. "You're my whole fan base," Siko joked one evening as they walked down a quiet street, the night air smelling of roasted corn and petrol. "Then your fan base is very powerful," she replied, bumping him with her shoulder. Lami didn't just clap, she worked. She started filming his performances on her small phone, editing clips in free apps, and posting them online with captions like, "Afrofusion star in the making. Remember his name, Siko." She DM'd pages that promoted upcoming artists. Sometimes they ignored her. Sometimes they posted him. Each time, she ran to show him, eyes shining. "See, they posted you. Look at the comments." Siko would scroll slowly, reading every word like it mattered more than money. Lami lived with her older cousin in a cramped apartment where the fridge hummed too loudly and the bathroom door never closed properly. But she made that small space feel like something soft. On nights when Siko came over after a long rehearsal, she cooked simple meals. Jollof rice stretched with more tomato than rice, plantain fried till the edges were almost burnt, spiced fish she bought from a loud woman in the market. "You don't have to do all this," Siko said one night, sitting at the edge of her narrow bed, watching her move around the hot kitchen. "I know," Lami answered, stirring the pot. "But I want you to think about lyrics, not about hunger." He was quiet for a while. Then he said, "Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve you." She looked over her shoulder, wiping sweat from her forehead. "Don't say that," she replied. "Your music deserves the world. And I believe in anything your music touches." He swallowed hard, his eyes suddenly wet. "What if my music doesn't go anywhere?" he whispered. Lami turned off the gas, walked to him, and held his face. "Then we will go somewhere," she said. "That's what matters." They fell into a rhythm that felt almost like a secret marriage. Lami woke up early to go to her boring office job, where she processed forms no one read. During lunch breaks, she created posts for Siko's page, replied to comments, begged DJs and voice notes to at least listen to his demo. After work, she rushed home, cooked, and then they sat cross-legged on the floor planning. "You need an image," she said one evening, chewing on a pencil. "You can't just be the boy with guitar. You're Afrofusion. You're city and village. You're clean and raw. We need to show that. Siko laughed. So what do you suggest, manager madam? He teased. She ignored the joke, eyes bright with ideas. We'll shoot a simple video, she said. You in Ankara trousers, plain black shirt, barefoot by the lagoon. We'll overlay some spoken word. We'll tag every music page we can find. He stared at her, impressed. Where will we get camera? He asked. I'll borrow from my cousin's friend, she said. I'll return it before she misses it. Siko shook his head, amazed. You know you're wild, right? I know I'm serious, she said simply. One Saturday, they took a Danfo bus to the lagoon side. The sun was too bright, and the water smelled like old secrets and engine oil. Still, Lami directed the whole thing like a calm storm. Walk slower, she called. Look at the water, not at me. Think about that line. I carry village prayers in my city chest. Siko obeyed, his bare feet pressing into the damp sand. She made him perform the song over and over while she recorded from different angles. Talk to the camera, she instructed. Tell them who you are. He cleared his throat, shy. My name is Siko, he said. I am an Afrofusion artist. I sing for people who feel stuck between where they come from and where they are going. When they returned home, tired and sunburnt, Lami stayed up all night editing. She added subtitles by hand, synced the audio, and chose the best shots. When she finally posted it with the caption, "If you see this, your new favorite artist just found you," her hands shook a little. Then she plugged in her almost dead phone and lay next to Siko, who was already snoring softly. By morning, the video had more views than anything they had posted before. Comments poured in. Who is this? He's different. I feel this in my bones. Where can I stream? Lami jumped on the bed, screaming. Wake up, she shouted, waving the phone in front of Siko's sleepy face. He sat up, confused. What? Fire? Flood? Better than fire, she cried. Look, he squinted at the screen. As the numbers kept rising, his mouth slowly fell open. Is this? Really my page? He whispered. Yes, she laughed. Some big accounts reposted. Look, this one has 100,000 followers. Siko put both hands on his head. Ha! Lami, what did you do? She grinned. I just opened the door. Your talent did the rest. His eyes softened as he looked at her. Thank you, he said quietly. You keep pouring yourself into me. One day, I will make sure you never have to work in that office again. She rolled her eyes playfully, but a tiny flame of hope lit inside her. Just keep singing, she answered. We'll see about the rest. Soon, small shows turned into slightly bigger shows. Instead of being the opening act no one cared about, Siko started getting invited as the main performance at campus festivals and art events. They still did not pay much, but they paid something. Lami kept a notebook where she wrote down every gig, every payment, every contact. We need to treat this like a business, she said, tapping the notebook. Not just vibes. After a performance one night, a tall man with a silver beard and a too bright smile walked up to them backstage. You're Siko, he said, extending a hand with heavy rings on his fingers. My name is Moro. I manage talent. Siko shook his hand cautiously. Nice to meet you, sir, he replied. I've been watching your clips online, Moro continued. You have something the market has not fully tasted yet. Have you thought about proper management? Lami's ears sharpened at the word. She stepped closer, forcing a smile. We manage things together for now, she said calmly. Moro glanced at her, then back at Siko. That's cute, he said. But if you want to move from small shows to real stages, you'll need more than cute. They sat with Moro at a plastic table near the back of the venue. The air smelled of sweat and cheap beer. Moro spoke fast, drawing lines on a napkin. Branding, strategy, partnerships, he said. You have the sound. I know the doors. Siko listened, excited and overwhelmed. Lami listened too, but her chest felt tight. What percentage would you take? She asked, cutting into the flow. Moro looked at her like he had just noticed a fly. We can discuss numbers later, he said smoothly. I like to focus on vision first. Numbers are also vision, she replied, her voice still polite. Siko gave her a small warning look, like, please don't spoil this. She swallowed her annoyance. Moro leaned back. I move fast, he said. I have artists waiting for my time. Think about it, but not for too long. The wave is here now. He stood, dropped a business card on the table, and walked away to greet someone else. Lami picked up the card, turning it between her fingers. What do you think? Siko asked softly. She forced herself to breathe. I think we should be careful, she answered. But I also think we should not be afraid. That night, they argued for the first time in a long time. In Lami's small room, the fan squeaked above them, pushing hot air around. I'm not saying we should never work with him, Lami said, sitting on the bed with her legs crossed. I'm saying we should get a lawyer, read a contract, ask questions. Siko paced back and forth. We don't have money for lawyer, he said. And what if he gets tired of waiting and moves on? If he gets tired of respectful questions, then he's not the right manager, she replied. We have come this far because we use sense, not rush. Siko stopped pacing and looked at her. Sometimes I feel like you don't believe I can make it big, he said quietly. That stabbed her. What? She whispered. Lami, you always hold me like I'm fragile, he continued. Like I will break if I jump. Maybe I need people who are ready to jump with me, even if they don't see the bottom. Her eyes burned. I've been jumping with you from the first day, she said, voice shaking. I just don't want you to land in a hole you can't climb out of. They went to sleep back to back that night, the first space between them feeling wide like a river. In the end, they met with Moro again. He arrived late, sunglasses on at night, smelling of expensive cologne. He spread a printed contract on the table of a small cafe. Standard deal, he said. I invest my time, my connections, sometimes my money. In return, I get 35% of everything you earn for the next 5 years. Lami's eyes widened. 5 years, she repeated. 35. Moro chuckled. You young people like to shout numbers, he said. Do you know how many artists will never see serious money in 5 years? You should be thinking about the doors I will open, not about percentages of nothing. Siko chewed his lip, looking from the paper to Lami. Can we reduce the years? He asked. Or the percentage? Moro's smile disappeared for a second. Then it returned thinner. This is my template, he said. If you want a charity, go to church. Lami leaned forward. What about creative control? She asked. Will Siko decide his sound? Moro raised a brow. Are you the artist? He asked her slowly. No, she answered. But I'm his. She stopped, suddenly unsure what to call herself. Girlfriend. Partner. Helper. I'm his support, she finished weakly. Moro sighed like he was bored. Listen, Lami, he said, finally saying her name like it tasted sour. You have done well, truly. You dragged him out of the mud. But there are levels. When real money enters, emotions must move back. If you mix them, you lose. Lami's jaw clenched. Siko reached under the table and squeezed her hand gently, as if asking her to calm down. Can I take the contract home to read properly? He asked. Moro shrugged. Sure. But this offer does not stay fresh forever. The industry is moving. On the bus ride back, Siko held the papers like they were fragile glass. Lami stared out the window, watching the city lights blur. You believe he respects you? She asked softly. He respects what I can become, Siko said. That's something. He doesn't respect us, she replied. You. Me. What we built. Siko sighed. Maybe that's not his job, he murmured. Maybe his job is just to open doors. She turned to him sharply. And my job? She asked. What is my own job in your life? He didn't answer at first. The silence grew round and heavy. You're you, he finally said. It did not comfort her. Weeks passed. Calls from Moro increased. Have you signed? He would ask. I have shows lined up. Brands asking about fresh faces. One afternoon, Siko arrived at Lami's office with tired eyes and a shaky smile. He waited for her lunch break, standing outside the gate with his guitar case. Let's sign, he said as soon as she walked out. Her heart dropped. You've decided? She asked. He nodded. I can't stay on this same level, he said. I feel like my chest will explode. I need to move. She swallowed. Okay, she whispered. If that's what you want. It's what we need, he replied quickly. For both of us. When things pick up, you won't have to be in this place. He gestured to the office block behind her, its walls stained with rain and time. She looked at the building, then at him. Fine, she said. But I'm coming to the signing. He hesitated. Moro said the room will be full, he said. Lawyers, label people, media. He thinks it will confuse things if too many voices are there. Lami froze. I'm too many voices now, she asked. Lami, please, he begged. It's just for today. On the day of the signing, Lami sat on her bed, staring at her silent phone. No calls. No texts. No, I'm going in. No, wish me luck. No, we did it. Just empty notifications. She imagined Seiko in some cool office with glass walls, sitting beside Moro, smiling for cameras. She imagined people clapping, shaking hands, making promises. The thought tasted bitter in her mouth. Finally, she grabbed her bag and headed out. If he wouldn't invite her, she would invite herself. She called one of the small producers who had worked with Seiko before. "Do you know where they're signing?" she asked. "I heard something about Moro's label," the guy replied. "They use an office in Victoria Island." Lami's chest tightened. That part of the city felt like another world, full of people who never carried change. She spent almost her last cash on the ride, holding onto the seat as traffic crawled. When she arrived in front of the tall building, she felt very small. The security man blocked her. "Who are you looking for?" he asked. "I'm here for Seiko's signing," she said. "They're upstairs." The man's eyes swept her simple dress and worn sandals. "Do you have an appointment?" he asked. "No," she admitted. "Then you can't go in." Lami stepped aside, heat rising in her face. She moved close to the gate, trying to see through the tinted glass doors each time they opened. She caught glimpses: sharp suits, sleek heels, a banner with the label's logo. Her throat tightened. After nearly an hour of standing there, her phone finally buzzed. It was Seiko. Signing done. It was crazy. "I'll call you later." Just one line. No voice note, no picture, no "I wish you were here." Her fingers trembled as she typed back, "I'm outside the building." There was no reply. A few minutes later, a group of people came out laughing. Seiko was among them, wearing a new jacket she had never seen before. Moro walked beside him, one hand on his shoulder. There were two pretty girls in tight dresses, taking selfies. Lami stepped forward, raising a hand. "Seiko," she called. He heard her. Their eyes met. For a second, his face softened, guilt flashing through. Then Moro leaned in and said something in his ear. Seiko looked away. He pretended not to know her as he entered a black car with dark windows. Lami stood frozen on the pavement as the car drove off. The security man gave her a long, pitying look. She forced her feet to move and walked towards the bus stop. The world sounded far away, like someone had put cotton in her ears. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Seiko. "Babe, I'm so sorry. Things moved fast. I'll explain later." She stared at the screen, then locked her phone without replying. That night, when he finally called, her voice was flat. "Congratulations," she said. "I saw your new life entering that black car." He sighed heavily. "You came all the way there?" he asked. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Would you have let me inside?" she replied. Silence. "Moro said they already reduced the percentage to 32 because I dropped one song with him earlier," Seiko said, trying to sound excited. "He said that shows they value me. The label people said they see me as the next big Afrofusion star." "That's good," Lami said quietly. "I'm happy your dream is standing in fine shoes now." Her words cut him more than if she had shouted. "Please don't be like this," he begged. "We're still us." "Are we?" she asked. Life started changing in small ways first. Seiko's old phone, with its cracked screen and dying battery, was replaced by a new, shiny one. He began posting more polished photos, studio sessions with colored lights, rehearsals with full bands, meetings in fancy spaces. Lami still reposted every update, but now the captions felt different in her mouth. Before, she wrote "we." Now everything was his. One evening, she waited for him in her room with a pot of stew simmering on the stove. He had promised to come by after a radio interview. Time stretched. 11 p.m. turned into midnight. The stew grew cold. She called him, no answer. She called again, his line was busy. Finally, around 1:30 a.m., a message came through. "Hey." Interview ran long. Then label people wanted to hang. "I'm crashing on the island tonight. Don't be angry, I beg." Lami stared at the words. She typed slowly, "You could have told me earlier." He replied with a voice note, his voice low and tired. "Lami, my head is full. Everybody wants something. I'm trying, okay? You know you're my person." She lay back on her bed, tears sliding into her hair. If she was his person, why did she feel like a stranger looking in? Late-night calls became normal. Sometimes, when Lami woke to drink water at 2 a.m., she saw Seiko's status online. When she sent a quick message, he replied hours later with "Sorry, meeting or we were in the studio or network was bad." One night, she finally asked, "Meeting with who at 1 a.m.? He replied, "Producers, label head, some influencers." That's how this life is, Lami. It doesn't sleep. She tried to understand. She had always known success would demand strange sacrifices. But other signs began to appear. Perfume on his clothes that wasn't hers. Lip gloss marks on his cheek disguised as someone greeted me too close. Pictures on blogs of him at events with women she had never seen before. When she asked, he sighed. They're just industry friends, he said. You know they like to pair artists with pretty faces for promotion. It's nothing. Is it nothing to you? She asked. He kissed her forehead instead of answering directly. You worry too much, he murmured. Trust me. She wanted to trust. She had built her whole life around trusting his dream. But for the first time, she felt like that dream was walking ahead without looking back to see if she could still keep up. One afternoon, while scrolling through social media at her desk, Lami saw a new photo on Siko's page. He was sitting on a low stool in a stylish studio, dressed in a custom jacket with bright ochre sleeves. Beside him, leaning into his shoulder, was a tall, light-skinned girl with a sharp jawline and long braids. The caption read, "Big energy loading with the one and only Velu." The comments were wild. My ship. You two look perfect together. This is the couple we didn't know we needed. Heat climbed Lami's neck. She clicked on the girl's tag. Velu's page opened to a flood of glossy pictures. Brand trips, designer outfits, parties on yachts. Millions of followers. Influencer. Ambassador. Everything about her screamed expensive. Lami's chest tightened. That night, when Siko came by for a quick visit, she held out her phone. Who is Velu? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. He glanced at the screen and shrugged too casually. Just a collaborator, he said. She's huge, babe. Her team wants to push my next single. It's good for my brand. Why does it look like you're dating in the pictures? Lami pressed. He sighed. You know the game. People love love. It sells. And what about our love? She whispered. Siko rubbed his forehead. Lami, please. Don't start, he said. I'm not starting, she replied. I'm in the middle of something that is already happening. He dropped his bag on the chair. Morrow explained it clearly, he said. If people think I'm with someone like Velu, the labels listen more. Brands pay more. Shows book faster. It's a picture, not my heart. Lami felt like someone was slowly removing bricks from under her feet. So what am I? She asked quietly. Your offline picture? Your back-end love. He winced. You're the one who believed in me when nobody cared, he said. Your family. The word stabbed harder than any insult. Family. Safe, taken for granted, hidden behind the scenes. Siko, she said slowly, I did not give my heart to. You so you could file it under family, while you walk red carpets with other women. His jaw tightened. You want me to choose between you and everything I've worked for? He asked. Because that's how you're making it sound. The room went silent. Even the ceiling fan seemed to hold its breath. Lami swallowed, her eyes burning but dry. I want you to remember who you were before they told you what you should be, she said. He looked away, and for the first time, she wondered if the boy with the cracked guitar by the lagoon was already gone. The breaking point came on a night when rain hammered the city like it wanted to wash everything away. Lami was sitting at her small desk, adjusting the hem of a dress she was trying to redesign from old fabric scraps. Outside, thunder rolled. Her phone buzzed with a notification. A blog headline blared across the screen. Afrofusion star Siko and influencer Velu confirm new relationship at gala night. The article showed them holding hands on a red carpet, smiling like a perfect match. Lami's breath hitched. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through the pictures. Velu's head on Siko's shoulder, Siko whispering something into her ear, both of them laughing. The comment section was a celebration of their chemistry. For a moment, her vision blurred. When Siko called minutes later, his voice sounded rehearsed. Babe, listen, those bloggers twist things. It wasn't like that. She inhaled shakily. They don't need to twist anything, she said softly. Your hand was in hers. Your smile was in her face. He exhaled loudly. Lami, this is for the brand. You know that. She closed her eyes. I am tired of being the secret truth while you parade the lie, she whispered. Silence. Then Siko said, maybe we need space. Lami nodded even though he couldn't see her. Maybe we need freedom, she corrected. After their call ended, Lami sat alone in the dim room. The rain softened, but something inside her hardened. She stood up, walked to the mirror, and stared at the woman looking back, tired eyes, shaky breath, but a fire waiting to burn. I gave too much, she said to her reflection. Now I will give to myself. The next morning, she called in sick to work, spread all her old sketches on the floor, and began cutting fabrics. Each stitch felt like a small healing. She posted one of her designs online, a simple dress with bold patchwork and hand-painted patterns. She added a caption, "From broken pieces, beauty can still rise." She thought only her friends would like it, but by afternoon, the post exploded. Influencers shared it. A stylist DM'd her. Orders started coming in, too many for her tiny room. "Do you sell this?" someone asked. "Can you make more?" another wrote. Lami's heart raced. She named her brand Lame, using the first syllable of her name, but making it feel new, shiny, reborn. For weeks, she worked day and night, sewing until her fingers hurt, delivering pieces across the city, filming her process, telling her story in simple, honest words. People connected with her strength. Her heartbreak became her fuel. And slowly, she became her own rising star. By the end of the year, Lame had grown beyond what she imagined. Fashion bloggers called her the face of raw originality. Celebrities wore her pieces in music videos. A major fashion house invited her to showcase at a young designer's exhibition. Lami walked into rooms confident, glowing, and no longer apologizing for her presence. One afternoon, as she arranged new designs in her small studio, her cousin rushed in. "Lami, check your phone." Lami glanced down. Her notifications were buzzing nonstop. Seiko had just released a new music video, and in the comments, fans were comparing his old authenticity to his new confusion. Rumors swirled that his relationship with Velu had ended roughly. His latest single wasn't performing well. Blogs whispered that he seemed lost. Lami felt nothing sharp. Just a soft ache like an old wound no longer bleeding. That evening, as she packed orders, her phone rang. The caller ID read Seiko. Her fingers hovered before she slowly answered. His voice came through, softer than she remembered. "Lami, hi." She kept her tone steady. "Hello, Seiko." He cleared his throat. I saw your brand everywhere. You're doing amazing." She smiled faintly. "Thank you." Silence sat between them like a memory. Seiko exhaled shakily. "I messed everything up," he said. "I let people get into my head. I pushed away the only person who ever saw me clearly." Lami listened quietly. He continued. "Velu and it wasn't real. Nothing felt real after you left." She closed her eyes briefly. "I didn't leave," she said softly. "You walked far ahead and forgot to look back." His breath caught. "Lami, can we talk? In person? I just want to see you. I want to apologize properly. Maybe we can start again." Lami looked around her bright, busy studio. The fabrics, the sketches, the orders, the future she had built with her own hands. She remembered the girl who waited by the lagoon with a borrowed camera, who cooked jollof late into the night, who poured her whole heart into someone else's dream. That girl had grown into a woman who no longer begged to be seen. "Seiko," she said gently, "I'm not angry anymore. Truly." He waited, hope trembling in his silence. She continued, "But going back would mean shrinking myself again. And I've grown too much to fit where I used to stand." His voice cracked. "So this is goodbye?" Lami breathed in deeply. "This is peace." Months later, at a grand city fashion gala, Lami walked the red carpet wearing one of her own designs. A flowing dress with bold gold strokes across deep blue fabric. Cameras flashed. People called her name. "Designer of the Year," someone shouted. Inside the hall, the lights glowed warm, and Lami's collection drew gasps and applause. Near the back of the room, unnoticed by most, Seiko stood quietly watching her shine. He didn't approach. He didn't call her name. He simply held his breath as she accepted her award, tears of joy running down her cheeks. She looked powerful, centered, and complete, without him. As she walked off stage, she caught a glimpse of him from afar. Their eyes met for a single heartbeat. She gave him a small, peaceful smile. Not of love. Not of anger. Just gratitude for the journey. Seiko lowered his gaze, understanding fully. The woman he had abandoned, the woman he thought he could replace, was now far beyond his reach. Outside, as Lami stepped into the night air, the city seemed to whisper her new truth. She had become her own home, her own dream, her own rising star. And for the first time, her story belonged entirely to her. Please like, share, and subscribe.